This is part 2 of RE 9262 or VAWC. We will be focusing on Section 5I, psychological violence through denial of financial support, and Section 5E, 2, economic abuse through deprivation of financial support. So Section 5I penalizes the willful denial of financial support that causes psychological violence, mental or emotional anguish to the woman or her child. Per Archaron versus People, the offense is mala in se. Thus, both actus reus and mens rea must be proved. In this type of offense, the actus reus is the willful denial and the mens rea is the intent to inflict mental or emotional anguish. So what are the elements of psychological violence under Section 5I, or otherwise known as denial of financial support? 1. The offended party is a woman and or her child. 2. The woman is a wife or former wife of the offender, or a woman with whom he has or had sexual or dating relationship, or a woman with whom he has a common child. As for the woman's child, they may be legitimate or illegitimate, living within or without the family abode. 3. The offender willfully refuses to give or consciously denies the woman and or her child financial support that is legally due her and or her child. 4. The offender denied the financial support for the purpose of causing the woman and or her child mental or emotional anguish. In Archaron versus People, the issue was whether mere failure or incapability to provide support which results in mental anguish already constitutes violation of Section 5I. The Supreme Court held that no, to be convicted under Section 5I, the evidence must establish beyond reasonable doubt that the accused intended to cause the victim mental or emotional anguish through the denial of, not the mere failure or inability to provide financial support. Again, the actus reus of Section 5I is the willful denial of financial support, and the mens rea is the intention to inflict mental or emotional anguish upon the woman. Both must exist and be proved before conviction. The offense is mala in se, not mala prohibita. Specific criminal intent is required. Thus, BBB was not guilty because the third and fourth elements of the crime were absent. There was no willful denial, only an inability to provide due to circumstances beyond his control. Section 5E, paragraph 2, economic abuse through deprivation of financial support. This penalizes the deprivation or threat of deprivation of financial support legally due to the woman or child. But the gravamen here is different from Section 5I. The mens rea under this section is the intent to control or restrict the woman's or her child's movement or conduct, not to inflict psychological violence. For deprivation of financial support to rise to the level of criminal liability under Section 5E, there must be allegation and proof that it was done with the intent to control or restrict the woman and or her child's actions or decision. This element is specific intent to control or restrict what elevates the act from a civil obligation to a criminal one. So to compare Section 5I and Section 5E, paragraph 2, the actus reus, well, in Section 5I, is the willful denial of financial support. In Section 5E2, the actus reus is the deprivation or threat of deprivation of financial support. The mens rea in Section 5I is intent to inflict mental or emotional anguish, while in Section 5E, paragraph 2, is the intent, or the mens rea, is to control or restrict the woman's or child's movement or conduct. Both are mala in se, thus require specific criminal intent. Note that the variance doctrine is not applicable. Charge under 5I does not include 5E, paragraph 2, and vice versa.